It was an interview which prompted anger from voters and veterans, taking place on the day Rishi Sunak left the D-Day commemorations early. Arriving for it, the PM apologised for events in Normandy overrunning. In an interview, both political and personal, Mr Sunak was asked about his wealth, how well he relates to voters, and what he went without as a child. Sky Television, he said. The PM also defended the Conservatives' record after 14 years in office. He was speaking to our UK editor, Paul Brand.
When Rishi Sunak left D-Day early to continue his battle on the home front, it was this election interview with ITV Tonight that sparked outrage for him before it had even aired. The slot his party offered us was just as he landed from Normandy.
Prime Minister.
Gosh, hello. Sorry to have
well,
kept
thank
you.
No, not at all. I know you've been in Normandy.
Yeah, it all just ran over. It was incredible, but it just ran over everything.
I'm sure it was
so apologies for keeping you.
No, not at all. I'm sure it was a powerful trip. I mean, so pertinent as well this year, you know, considering what's happened in Ukraine.
Yeah, which
and,
I haven't seen President Biden's remarks, but I think that's kind of the echo, I think, what he said.
Did you get to meet any of the veterans, or were you...
Oh, no,
did you just have to do the ceremonial?
Oh, lots. Over yesterday and today.
Yeah,
I've already spoke to almost everyone that was there, I hope.
He has since said sorry for not staying longer.
That was a mistake, and I apologise.
But this is a Prime Minister in a hurry, the youngest in 200 years, not to mention the richest.
When you are wealthier than the King, what do you do day to day to make sure you're still in touch with the kind of struggles ordinary people face? Have you ever gone without something?
Yeah, I mean, my family emigrated here with very little. And that's how I was raised. I was raised with the values of hard work.
What did you go without as a child?
We went out with lots of things, right? Because my parents wanted to put everything into our education, and that was a priority.
So what sort of things had to be sacrificed?
Lots of things, right?
Can you give me an example of
All sorts of things. So, like lots of people, there'll be all sorts of things that I would have wanted as a kid that I couldn't have, right? Famously, Sky TV. So that was something that we never had growing up, actually.
In the midst of a cost of living crisis, he knows many are going without far more, but denies that is the fault of the Conservative Party.
Are people wrong to feel the country is worse than it was in 2010?
But I actually just disagree with you that that is what people think when they talk to me about it. Over the last 14 years, I am proud of the progress that the Conservative governments over those periods have made.
What's better then? What's better now?
I mean, I'll take one example, is education. Because of the reforms that were implemented, English schools are now the best in the UK, and they've risen in the international rankings by leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds. And English school children right now are the best readers in the Western world.
Perhaps they've read the headlines about Rishi Sunak's new competitor. How does the Prime Minister feel about Nigel Farage entering the race for Reform UK?
Your grandparents were immigrants, your wife is an immigrant, you were an immigrant for a while to the US yourself, so you know that immigration can be good for a country. The only reason you want to bring it down is because you're scared of Nigel Farage, isn't it?
No, I've been saying that I want to bring immigration down since the first day I had this job. Because it's too high, because immigration that is too high puts pressure on public services.
What do you think are Nigel Farage's best qualities?
I really don't know him, Paul. I think I've met him maybe once in my life. I don't know
Do you feel threatened by him?
No, I'm talking to everyone across the country about my plans for this country.
You're not worried he's going to steal votes from the Conservative Party?
At the end of the day, as I said, one of two people is going to be Prime Minister on July 5th. It's either Keir Starmer or me. A vote for anyone who's not a Conservative candidate. It's a vote to put Keir Starmer in office. And again,
Rishi Sunak only has 3 weeks left to try and influence who walks up or who walks out of Downing Street.
Well, Paul joins me now. Paul, you've met him, you've spent time with him. Will this interview do anything to up his popularity when the Tories look like all they're trying to do now is to avoid total wipeout?
Well, I think Rishi Sunak was really hoping to move on from the whole D-Day saga with the manifesto launch yesterday, for example, but political memories can be quite long, even during a short election campaign, and we're now almost a week into these headlines about D-Day and the fact that he came home early. And there is frustration within the Conservative Party today that this is now coming up on the doorsteps routinely. There's also frustration, I think, with the way he handled those questions on wealth. His wealth is a double-edged sword for him. On the one hand, he's a successful man. His family have worked their way up in this country. His grandparents arrived as immigrants. It's something to be proud of in his family. But on the flip side, during a cost of living crisis, can he connect with voters who have gone without far worse things than Sky TV over the past couple of years? So there's real worry, I think, in the Conservative Party that the campaign now is sort of doomed, I think, as one source put it to me today. And that certainly sounds like the vibe from the Defence Secretary, Grant Shapps, who said today, please avoid a supermajority for Labour. So the party's gone from the position now of saying, please elect Conservatives into government, to please don't elect Labour into government with a very large majority, try and whittle it down a bit, which does seem like an extraordinary position to take.
Paul, thank you very much indeed.